Right, so today I wanted to make a video on how do you maybe not get rich as a normal everyday person, but how do you become wealthy, on a normal salary, whatever it is, 50, $100,000. And in a nutshell, to sum it up, it's pretty traditional, but you need to have more than one way to make money, right? And in my mind, it is very easy, like very, especially nowadays with the internet and whatnot. It is super easy to have two or three, right? Maybe even four or five. And again, I'm gonna get into some of the more easy ones here. But again, most people have a job, right? So that's one. What are some other options? Well, another one that I don't think is talked about nearly enough that I think more people should do is options, right? Options trading. Now, again, when people hear options, a lot of people they immediately think, oh, you're going to take a bunch of risk and you're going to be. People think of it as like gambling, but it's like not really. Only if you're buying call options or you're shorting the market all the time. A safer way to do things is simply covered calls and cash secured puts, right? I mean, this is simply VOO, the one of the big S&P index funds. Um, Again, like if you look at, no, again, here's the problem. The problem with a fund like this is that you're going to need, I mean, that's going to be about 45, 42 to 45,000 roughly Canadian dollars. So this isn't the perfect example, but you can simply purchase 100 shares, which again is how many you need to trade options, right? And simply sell covered calls, right? I mean, if you sell, let's say you sell right at the money options, you can make what is that? $570 a month, right? And again, this is for this is actually this is like 3 weeks out, not even. So you can make like 600, $700 a month by doing this, right? Same goes for cash secured puts. Call covered calls is simply you own 100 shares and you sell another investor the right to buy those shares at a certain price. Put Cash secured puts is kind of the opposite. That simply means you have the cash available in your account, and if the stock or ETF hits that price on the day or even before possibly, then you have to buy, right? Or at the very least, you're obligated to buy. Technically, you could flip the option. Um, so again, that is a very simple way to make money, right? Um, and this is one that I don't think is talked about nearly enough. I mean, if we look at, and this is another one too when it comes to crypto too. People say, oh, well, you can't make money in a TFSA or a Roth IRA with crypto, but it's like, sure you can. I mean, I'll show you an example of that, right? You go to Marathon. Again, there's a lot of these mining companies. Marathon's an example of it. Again, you can simply sell covered calls or cash secured puts on those options, right? I mean, and the problem with that, I mean, there's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that it's very volatile. The good thing is that the more volatile, the more you're going to make on premiums on options, which is a good thing, right? So again, that is one example. I mean, another example is simply dividends, right? Dividends. I mean, if we go to, I mean, dividends. I mean, there's plenty of dividend funds, but I mean, in my mind, you go to like, let's just take JEPI, which is a covered call fund. Again, I believe I mean, right now it's a 10% yield, which is pretty crazy, right? So again, very high yield. I mean, if you look at year to date, this fund actually hasn't lost that much value. I think it's actually year to date it's only down 5.57%, which again is, I mean, if we go to the S&P 500, okay, that one's not coming up. Let's just go back to VOO, 13.4. So again, it's down. It's not even. It's down less than half of what the S&P is, right? And you get that 10% dividend. So theoretically, you're not even down, right? So um, dividends. I mean, technically that is a covered call fund, but the way you make money is through dividends, right? So again, you have two options that I think virtually anyone can do without any effort, with very little effort. Dividends literally are no effort. Covered calls, you literally got to log into your computer like 5-10 minutes a week, maybe a little more depending on how tight you want to get with how much you're selling those for. If you want to get as much money as humanly possible, you do have to kind of keep an eye on things and watch your prices you set. But other options, again, other jobs. And again, also, I think another one too to make money down the road, I think, is crypto, right? Again, I'm not an advocate of putting massive amounts of your personally a different story, but I'm not a advocate of putting massive amounts of your wealth in crypto. But again, personally, I think you're insane to not have at least 1 or 2%. If you want to be more aggressive, 5, maybe 10%. Obviously, again, all this stuff, my opinion, but um, that is another example. Again, there's also real estate. Um, there's physical real estate, and then there's REITs, real estate investment trusts. These are technically kind of like ETFs that invest in real estate. I mean, if you look into there's plenty of them, but I mean, if we go to, I don't even know off the top of my head what the biggest Canadian one would be. But I mean, you have let's just go to Granite. This is a industrial one. This one I think is solid. Again, 3.41%. Again, also has crazy amounts of growth over the long run here. I mean, look at 5 years ago, this fund was at $51. Now it's at 91. So you've almost doubled. Plus, you got that nice dividend. So again, there is, and again, the good thing about REITs is that there's REITs in every industry, right? There's industrial, there's commercial, there's residential, there's blends, there's retail, which probably not the best, in the long run, but there's something for everything too. So you can diversify within that too. So I think the way to come up with multiple streams of income is simply options, mainly being covered calls, cash secured puts. The only problem with cash secured puts is typically you can't do it in a TFSA. In a TFSA, you can typically only do covered calls. But again, which makes no sense because they consider it more risky. But it's like I can YOLO deep out of the money options into GameStop. I can put my entire TFSA YOLOing options into GameStop, but call options into GameStop, but I can't sell a cash secured put on Coca-Cola, right? Or some Procter and Gamble or some insanely unvolatile stock, right? So again, which makes no sense, but again, that's just the way the government is. But again, that is the way. Again, another side hustle. That's another very common way, even a part-time job. So, in my opinion, you should be able to get three very very easily, if not four or five. Um, and again, like I say, there's different ones within ones, right? I mean, when it comes to investing, you have dividend stocks. You can trade options. You can invest in real estate investment trusts. The list goes on and on and on, right? So the way to do it is simply to find as many ways as possible, and go with the ones that you can perform the best at, right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out those. Sorry, just hit that like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.